Okay, if you opened up your phone and saw headlines like Epstein, government shut down Iran, and immediately wanted to put your phone away, I get it. It's a lot. There's so much going on. It's hard to keep up. So I'm starting this series where I break down a few things happening in the news each week, what you should know. Let's help each other stay in the loop. First, let me tell you what I'm drinking. This is a delicious matcha. It's not just regular matcha, it's mushroom matcha. It's by a company called Ryze. They also make mushroom creamer, mushroom coffee, mushroom hot chocolate. Lots of health benefits. I'll link it below, and I have a promo code if you're interested. This is delicious. I made a strawberry matcha latte. Tastes like I got it from a cafe. And because of the mushrooms, it has so many health benefits. Help me to stay focused, have energy, no jitters. So check it out if you've been thinking about adding another wellness drink to your routine. But okay, let's get to the topic of this video. This may be my new favorite series. It's really hard to stay in the loop. There's just so much going on, so many different sources, so many social media accounts, news outlets, leaving certain things out, only reporting on certain things. You kind of have to go all over the internet to find out what's going on. What are the cold, hard facts? What do I need to know? So, this series is going to give you some bullet points, and we're touching on three important topics this week. Let's start with the conflict in Iran. On February 26th, the US and Israel launched a series of coordinated strikes against Iranian leadership and military sites. What triggered this? Failed conversations around Iran's nuclear enrichment program. Now, you may be thinking, what does that mean? Well, I'm going to break it down for you, so let me get my notes for this. So, this is about uranium. You can't do much with it in its natural state. Low enriched uranium are used for peaceful things like nuclear power plants to give a city electricity or for medical treatments. Now, high enriched uranium, that's for weapons. So there's usually an international agreement in place to keep all of this under control. So basically, the US, European allies, and Iran have not been able to come to an international agreement. The US was like, stop the enrichment machines right now. And Iran was like, no. They said, we are only doing peaceful things over here, but no, I'm not going to let you come and verify that. So then the US grew tired of talking and decided to strike. And then Iran retaliated, striking US bases. And this also affected a waterway where oil passes through. So, how do you see the effects in your day to day life besides seeing traumatic stories on the news? You also may see gas prices going up. There are protests going on, and I will be following this along and will keep you updated the best I can. But that's basically what has happened and why. Next topic. Let's talk about the Epstein files. Did you know there was a new release on March 5th? New files that the DOJ is claiming were mistakenly withheld. That's why we're not seeing them until now. And new files that contain allegations against your president, Donald Trump. There's a woman who claimed she was abused by both Epstein and Donald Trump. Of course, this is all alleged, but the accusation is in the new files. Meanwhile, the DOJ continues to remove pages claiming it's for the victim's protection, but it's giving cover up. The crazy thing about the Epstein files is, with all these pages being released, there has only been three people officially charged. The former Prince Andrew was arrested February 19th, and not even for abuse, for sharing confidential documents with Epstein. Also, a former British ambassador, Peter Mandelson. Again, it's about sensitive information, not abuse. And out of everybody in those files, the third person is a woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is already in prison. It's really unfortunate. It's really discouraging if you're looking for justice for these victims. Bottom line, there's almost 3 million public pages of the Epstein file, but the total amount keeps changing. I will look more into the March 5th file release and hoping for justice soon. And for the last topic, we're going to talk about this partial government shutdown we have going on. Again, confusing. Is the government shut down? Is it not? Don't worry, I got you. So, for the most part, most of the government is running. Since February 14th of this year, the Department of Homeland Security has been partially shut down. Why? Because the House passed the bill, but it's stuck in the Senate. The disagreement is on immigration reform and how the government is handling border security. The partial shutdown affects TSA, FEMA, and Secret Service, all of which are technically unfunded right now. The workers, they're working, but without a guaranteed paycheck. So, what is this bill? It's a $64.4 billion budget designed to keep DHS running through September. So, the House is Republican led and passed the bill. They actually passed it twice now. However, it's stuck in the Senate because it hasn't reached that 60 vote threshold to overcome a filibuster. Because this isn't about the money, it's about how federal agents behave. Unless this bill adds in some rules and regulations for ICE, Democrats not having it. Of course, I completely support the Democratic Party. We want body cams. We want agents to stop wearing masks. And we want the Minneapolis shootings investigated. So until then, shut it down. Unfortunately, how you may see this in your day to day, if you're traveling, you may have issues with TSA, longer lines, and FEMA. Disaster grants are currently frozen. So this is a major risk during storm season. So that's what's going on. I know, a bit stressful, a bit scary. So I wanted to keep this video short and sweet, stick to the bullet points so you could be informed without being too overwhelmed. We have to stay in the know when it's time to vote. We need to know who and what we're voting for. When there's opportunities to show up and fight for change, we need to know where to show up and what to do. So I'm here to help. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know if you like this kind of rundown, breakdown video of what's going on in the news. And I'll be back next week with 3 more topics. I'm done. Finish my matcha talking about all this. See you next time.